All right, so if you've come in a little bit late, welcome to Metabolomics 101. I'm going to work on part 2, which is an overview of current practices and requirements for quality assurance and control, and Rick Dunn is going to come up after a few moments and help out with this. This part 1, I'm going to talk about the quality assurance and quality control questionnaire that the Data Quality Task Group has been working on. So what is the Data Quality Task Group of the Metabolomics Society? It's a task group which includes elected board members and members of the society who are not on the board but who volunteered or got suckered into, volunteered. We've been formed for about a year, and we've had some really great meetings and discussions. One of our many goals, some of our goals are listed here. We really would like to form a nucleus for promoting robust QA/QC across the board in the metabolomics community. Some of the strategies are to develop some short-term and longer-term initiatives. We would like to make it educational, maybe not doctrinal, but educational, so that we can have a platform promoting QA/QC routinely in metabolomics practice. And eventually we'd like to develop some kind of a community consensus about what really constitutes good QA and QC procedures. So who's on this board or on this task group? There's a list of conspirators. I've co-chaired this task group along with Rick Beager, who's at the FDA, and he'll be here later in the meeting. I don't think he's made it for today, but he will be here later in the meeting. So if you have an interest in the activities of this task group, he or I would be glad to talk to you about that in any detail that you would like. And also any of the other panelists that you would like to corner and talk to. So where we landed on this was, although each of us have a fair bit of experience in running all the types of metabolomics experiments that are out there, we really wanted to gather input from the community. So one way to do that is to take a survey, and so that's where we're headed for this. So, okay, so where do we start? As we talked about things, we found that everyone in this task group had been snagged probably multiple times in various areas, and so we had to bring some focus to it. So I've stolen Charmin's slide here, and we started out with the thing that this community should be really good at, and that's analytical data quality. A large proportion of the Metabolomics Society has really good, strong analytical roots, and we felt like this is a place where we could maybe start, because all these other areas need help as well in terms of what you do, not only in designing experiments or sample collection, but how you ensure good data coming out of that work. So in saying, okay, we're going to focus on analytical issues, then we come to the point of saying, okay, what is QA, what is quality assurance, and what is quality control? Every regulatory organization in the entire world has defined this, and if you start digging, you will find some general alignment, and then you'll find some very distinctive features of various definitions. So we kind of got bogged down in this because out of this panel, we all had different opinions. And so for the purposes of this survey, we landed on these things. So quality assurance, it's the things that you do in advance of or in preparation for a metabolomics experiment. So all the planning that one should do. It actually does involve looking at prior results so that you know how well you've done in the past. But it's not necessarily it's not really doing anything except planning and training people, making sure that your instruments are qualified, and so there's a whole lot of things that go into the analytical quality assurance. Generally, people kind of view this as paperwork, but really what this does, if you have a QA approach, it really shows that your research has an attitude for quality. meaning that you really are taking some steps to prepare to have really good reportable data. Quality control, the word control means you're going to do something. And so what we ended up saying is that this is a set of procedures or measurements. Okay, these are things that you actually measure that you will be willing to show people to demonstrate the quality of your data. So you can say, we know our data is good because we measured this, and this is a consistent measurement. It also should include things that help you identify systematic errors in sample prep or instrument malfunctions and so forth. So these are, again, actual measurements that one makes to come to a conclusion about your data. And what I call this is the actual evidence for quality. So once you have collected quality control data, you have a packet of information that someone can assess, and they can decide whether they want to, for example, ask you for your study data. If your QC data looks good, then maybe you will be able to encourage people to use your study data for follow-up. And so it's really everything that you do or want to report should be backed up in a way that someone can assess how good your overall study is. So where we landed is that we're going to do a web-based survey focused on just analytical data quality. The results will be anonymized, so although we ask you, for example, to identify your laboratory and the survey people, us, will know your names, the results are going to be anonymized. So if you would maybe not be proud of the way you answer the questions, you don't have to worry about it. What we want to do is come up with a good view, a good statistical view of what actual practice is going on in the community. We tried to keep the survey short. We're at about 60 questions. Some of them are just tick boxes or multiple choice. There's a few free format responses that we're asking for as well. And we're going to post this. This is going to be available for a short time, about 6 weeks, so that we can start summarizing the results. The really important thing here is if you participate, your name is going to be entered into a drawing for $100 Amazon gift cards. So I know that everybody in here really is motivated purely by scientific curiosity, but you can get your joys from Amazon as well. So our goal is to post this and get the community. I think we're going to make it open not just to members of the Metabolomics Society, but it'll be open to the community at large. So if you look at the survey and you feel that it's of value, if you could share the survey with your network, it would be really great. So what's in the survey? The first part is just general info. Who are you? What type of measurements do you do? That'll give us some context for your answers how The second section is on quality assurance. What things do you do to make sure that the data you collect is uniformly consistent? How do you keep your results from being operator dependent, like in the case studies we just saw from the University of Colorado folks? That's something that one feels may not be on people's minds so much. Finally, questions about quality control. These may look platform specific, but we're really looking for something that the questions are really intended not to be platform specific. We thought about having a section for each of the major modalities, but then we end up with a 200 question survey, which would not be very fun. And finally, there's an open response section. So if you have ideas, or if you have particular problems or issues or things that really bother you, there'll be a chance to give an open response to that. And finally, don't forget that there is a drawing. There's going to be several $100 Amazon gift cards, so you're incentivized to participate. So I'd like to finish up in the next few moments with an important announcement. I work for NIST, and NIST is going to be conducting a metabolomics intercomparison exercise. This is going to be based on urine samples. The idea is to do a small number of these. We're looking at less than 10 samples. We're looking at all possible platforms. Okay, sorry. This is part of what we're calling QMed. It's the NIST Data Quality System for Metabolomics. My question is, who would be interested in volunteering to participate? If you would really like to participate, you could tell me personally at the meeting, or give me your card, your business card, and some contact information. There's also a little website that you could go to, metabolomicsmedia.org/intercomp, and it'll ask you some questions so that we can get an idea of what platforms you would be bringing to the show. We're not sure how strong the response will be, so going to this website is not a guarantee that we'll have the capacity to involve everyone. But right now, we're looking for partners who would want to participate. So thank you. I appreciate your time, and there's the website again if you are interested in participating. The next speaker is Professor Rick Dunn, who's going to give us some particular pointers on data quality and how to get better data.